their frustration. That's why I'm here. And I will live, I can assure you, to be the oldest living artist.
The oldest living artist? That's quite a claim.
Everyone else wants to die young, and I said, forget that. I'm going to be there 90 years old, screaming on the stage, shaking my fist, and it's going to be just as horrible as it always has, but all my predictions will have come true by that point.
I felt like I was drowning, slipping, sinking, being suffocated, sucked into an endless vacuum.
Well, ghettoizations happen in every format that you try to express yourself. They want to put you in a category. They want to put you under a title that they can understand. They want to pretend that they know what you're all about just by looking at your image, which is complete nonsense. First of all, because you're a woman, you have that prejudice against you or that praise for you. So it's already prejudiced. You're not on even territory. Then when you get up there and you want to dress and act the way you want to, and you are going to be aggressive and foul-mouthed because you have to be, because what you're dealing with is the pornography of reality. I mean, when I'm doing films especially, and people can accuse them of being just lowbrow Super 8 pornography, but I'm dealing with reality. I'm not dealing with fantasies. I'm not saying this is what I want to go through. I'm saying this is what I have gone through. And learn from these mistakes. Learn to see how your own behavioral patterns relate to these films. Ask yourself the question, why? Yeah, why did I make these films? Why have I made films like The Right Side of My Brain and Fingered? It's to show both sides, again, of the victimization, how there's actually people that allow themselves to be victimized. There's no crime without the victim, that allow themselves to be in a position of victimization just because sometimes having the ultimate experience, no matter how horrendous, is better than any form of mediocrity. So, just a few of the things I'm trying to cover in these small Super 8 semi-pornographic documentaries.
And for what? Him. That special someone. The White Knight. The Jack of Diamonds, the King of Hearts. Him.
No one ever approaches me on the street. Maybe they're horrified that they're going to end up in one of my stories. I can't tell. Instantly recognizable? Why? It's only because there's not more women out there screaming and doing things and, you know, littering the papers with their pictures. It's only because there's so few women out there speaking out that it makes each one, you know, some kind of a goalpost, some kind of an icon, a figurehead. I'm not a figurehead of any movement. I'm just one person doing what I want to do, doing what has to be done and saying what has to be said. I'm not an icon.
But, I mean, to the uneducated, one rather suspects that your name probably means not a great deal more than filth, muck, squalor, New York, and the rest of it, right? Would you care to take this opportunity on cheap TV to set these people straight?
Well, that's one part of it. I mean, we're certainly not going to deny the root of most of my verbiage, which does come from filth, pollution, moral pollution, spiritual pollution, the abuse of power, victimization, and trying to adopt both the victim's point of view and the victimizer's point of view to try to come to some accurate conclusion. I mean, that's what I'm speaking about always from day one, was the abuse of power, what it has done to me, how a victim, first in the role of victim, has to reverse that position to victimize, and then finally you can get over it, and that's about where I'm trying to finally achieve 13 years after I began screaming into the public's eye, to finish that cycle, the cycle of abuse, and get over it. And that's, I think, when I'm speaking, especially the spoken word shows, show that, yes, it sucks. Yes, it's terrible. We're living in a world that's almost completely extinct. That doesn't mean you have to take it lying down. You can get up, vent your spleen, at least shake your fist into the void and feel some relief. No one cares. You are screaming into the void. We're not in the 60s. No one is protesting except for me and the audience who pays to see it. But it's important. People have to feel there is some release, even if it's just to be shouting simultaneously that I can't take this anymore. Something has got to change. And that's what I'm all about, just not being able to take it anymore. You just can't let it go on. I mean, man is almost extinct. They've done this to us. Man, white men in positions of power. They run the world, and they're what has put it into the place that it's in now, and that has got to change. That's what I'm all about. Taking power back, giving it back to women. White men have perverted religion, art, history, science, medicine, and music. Let's go back to the original thing, not God, but the goddess. Back to the earth. We've already raped and killed the earth. Now what? Can't birth another one. I don't know. I'm just here to talk about it. I know I can't do anything, but I can't remain silent. I have to scream into the face of those that abuse me, and that's what Lydia Lunch is all about.
He was a mess. He stepped out of the gutter and into my arms, or at least that's what he'd say, and he was so filthy, I guess you'd believe it.
Pat there with Lydia Lunch. If you don't get a chance to see her live, watch out for her new album, Oral Fixation, which is available now. Now, the featured album, it's been out since July on the Polydor record label from Philip Boa and the Voodoo Club. The album's entitled Hair.